All right. We are, let's see, we are down to one of our guests, Nancy. I am told that you, who happens, coincidentally happens to be related to Ed, had something that she'd like to read, and then we will end with our guest of honor.
Thank you.
Oh, and actually, Jerry, did you want to? Okay, we'll go Nancy, Jerry, then our guest of honor. Okay, Nancy, come on up.
All right, I am not a writer. I'm an artist. I do paintings normally, but I promised my husband I would write something for his birthday. It's not about me.
It's not about him, you're right.
I've heard about his birthday for 4 months now, so it's not about him. Bad decisions. Where do I start? For about 8 summers, my friend and I rented an apartment in Lake Geneva. I was thinking of a story no one would believe that is true. The man stuck in his car upside down in the lake, the exploding gas can while starting a grill, or different ways of fishing, like shooting your gun into a lake and fish. Those stories are good, but who would believe that one? My sister called and asked if her husband and his friend David could come to the lake to go fishing. His friend David was a fisherman. John, not so much. John and David showed up at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. David told me he's been fishing since he was a boy. They took my boat out, which was a small ski boat, with a 45-horse motor. I told them they should not fish in the Narrows by the Wrigley Estate. The reasoning for not anchoring there is that the yachts ran through the Narrows as fast as they can, and their wakes can rock the boat. After seeing them off, Jan and I went out to breakfast. We spent there about 2 hours. We got home, I went to see if the guys were back. All I saw was a gas can on the dock. Did they take the gas can out before they left? No, I saw them leave. Then I hear, "You're home." It's John. I said, "Where's the boat? Did you have problems?" He said, "Kind of. Bad news, the boat sank." "You sank my boat?" I looked at him panicked. I asked, "Where's David?" "Oh, he's down at the payphone by the beach." I walked down the hill along the lake to the beach. I see David on the phone. He takes one look at me. Looks like he wants to climb into the phone so I would not see him. I walk up to him. I hear him saying, "Just a minute, here's the owner." The police boat dispatcher is on the phone, asking me questions. After answering the questions, she tells me my boat has been uprighted by the police and is docked at the Wrigley's dock. I have friends, Ray and Lori, that rent apartments near the beach. We sometimes play practical jokes on each other. It's now after 8 a.m. I go, I knock on the door. I wake up Lori. She opens the door and says, "What?" I say, "My brother-in-law sank my boat this morning and it's at Wrigley Dock. Could you take me in your boat so we can tow it back here?" She looks at me and says, "Right," and slams the door in my face. While knocking on the door, I yell, "No, no, no, it's true." Ray then opens the door. Holding my hand up, I go, "Honest, honest, I'm telling you the truth." I tell him to pick me up at the dock. 10 minutes later, his boat is at my dock. I tell Ray, "John and David will not be going with us. They had enough boating for today." As we leave the dock, Ray gives me a can of beer and a shot of bourbon. I drank them both. I say, "Let me tell you what happened." John and David went straight to the Narrows to fish. David told John he knows all about boats. David anchored the boat on the cleat in the back of the boat where the 45-horse motor is. That's the heaviest part of the boat. They put their fishing lines into the water. After a half hour, a very large yacht zoomed by them. The wake started to go over the side because they anchored incorrectly. You never anchor a boat at the heaviest side. So David panicked. He started the boat, threw it in reverse instead of forward, and drove the boat backwards into the water. The engine stopped working. The boat is now bobbing in the water with only the front of the boat above the water. As David is saving his fishing pole and tackle box, John is screaming, "I can't swim!" Then 2 boat cushions popped up next to him. He grabs the cushions, saving him from drowning. A boat passing by saw everything. They stopped and picked them up, called the police. The police boat took them to my dock and gave them a number to call, and that's why David was on the phone. After the day I had, Jan and I went to Mars Bar in Lake Como to relax. We know the person who plays behind the piano bar. I get a drink. Tom, the piano player, is telling a story about his daughter, who is the dispatcher for the police in Lake Geneva. He says, "My daughter called, and this man was telling me he sank a boat. She told him that the police righted the boat, but before she could give him any information about where it is, please answer some questions. Questions are, what type of boat is it? White. How big is it? I don't know. What's the make? I don't know. Who owns the boat? Nancy. What's her last name? I don't know. Are you staying with the owner? Yes. Where does the owner live? I don't know. Where are you calling from? The beach. What's the name of the beach? I don't know. She said, then the owner got on the phone and answered my questions. Everyone in the bar was laughing. Tom looked at me and said, "You don't think this is funny?" I said, "No, it was my boat. I did not buy one drink that night." I'm thinking, Bad Decisions is not a good name for my story. Instead, don't you think I should be politically incorrect and call it Men Are Men? Everything in here is absolutely true. I couldn't make that up.
Including the 2 drinks.
Oh, I have more than that.
And Nancy, in case you didn't see it, I just want to point out that your husband gave you a standing ovation. So he gets points on the husband scale. I got you. Guy code.